Standing in the operating room, I held the scalpel and looked at Su-ro lying on the table before me. She was my husband Shin-Shurchin's first love, and the biggest nightmare of my life. 3 years ago, to save her, I performed an 18-hour marathon surgery. When I woke up afterward, Shin-Shurchin told me, "Wan, by saving her, you saved my life too." I thought he was grateful. But the very next day he went and got married to Su-ro, and me. I was kicked out of the Shin family without a second thought. Now, reborn 3 years in the past, Su-ro is once again lying on my operating table. This time, I set down the scalpel. "I'm sorry, but I won't perform this surgery, Dr. Lin." The patient's heart rate is dropping rapidly. The nurse's urgent voice echoed through the operating room, and all eyes turned to me. Lying on the operating table was Su-ro, a 26-year-old with congenital heart disease in critical need of surgery. Her face was deathly pale, her breathing shallow, and the ECG readings had every medical professional in the room holding their breath. I'm Lin Wan, a 28-year-old chief cardiac surgeon at Beijing First People's Hospital. In the field of cardiac surgery, my skills are considered top-tier with a 98% success rate. Yet now, facing this woman, my hands were trembling. It wasn't nervousness, but rage. In my past life, I stood at the operating table for 18 hours straight to save her. Without even a sip of water, after the successful surgery, I collapsed in the operating room and was hospitalized for an entire week. Meanwhile, my husband Shin-Shurchin was embracing and kissing Su-ro in my hospital room while I lay unconscious. When I woke up and saw that scene, I thought I was dreaming. Shin-Shurchin noticed I was awake, a long-lost smile appearing on his face. Wan, you're awake. The doctor said you were exhausted and needed proper rest, I asked weakly. How did Su-ro's surgery go? It went perfectly, thanks to you. He took my hand. Wan, you saved her, and saved me too. At the time, I thought he only said that out of gratitude for me saving his friend, but to my surprise, when I was discharged from the hospital the next day, what I saw was their marriage certificate. Dr. Lin, my assistant's voice snapped me out of my memories. I watched Su-ro on the operating table, her vital signs fading by the second. Standard medical protocol demanded I begin the surgery immediately, but this time I had no intention of saving her. I saved her in my past life, only to reap my own tragedy in return. Shin-Shurchin kicked me out of the house penniless. When they found me in the slums 3 days later, I had already starved to death. Given a second chance 3 years back, I would never make the same mistake again. Dr. Lin. The patient is critical. We need to operate now, the anesthesiologist urged. I took a deep breath and set down the scalpel. I won't perform this surgery. The operating room erupted in murmurs. No one could believe their ears. Dr. Lin, what did you say? Nurse Wang stared at me in disbelief. I said, I won't perform this surgery. I repeated with unwavering resolve. The assistant panicked. Dr. Lin, the patient is crashing. You're the only one who can save her now. I pulled off my gloves and turned toward the operating room door. Then let her die. Pushing through the doors, I saw Shin-Shurchin waiting anxiously outside. The moment he spotted me, he rushed over. Wan, how did the surgery go? Is Su-ro? She's dead, I said flatly. Shin-Shurchin's face instantly turned ashen. What, dead? How is that possible? Your skills. I didn't perform the surgery on her. I looked him straight in the eye. Shin-Shurchin, let's get a divorce. He froze, completely taken aback by what I had just said. Wan, what are you talking about? Why won't you perform the surgery on Su-ro? She's my friend. You can't just stand by and let her die. I let out a cold laugh. Friend, Shin-Shurchin. Do you think I'm an idiot? What do you mean? He furrowed his brow. What I mean is, I know exactly who Su-ro is, I said, enunciating each word clearly. She's your first love, the one who's always held a special place in your heart, the person you've been searching for all these 3 years. Shin-Shurchin's expression shifted. He hadn't expected me to know so much. Wan, I can explain. No need to explain. I cut him off. Shin-Shurchin, I've been more than good to you these past 3 years. I gave you everything you wanted, went wherever you wanted, and believed every word you said. But now, the game is over. I turned to leave, but Shin-Shurchin suddenly grabbed my hand. Wan, you can't do this. Su-ro is still inside. She's dying. So what? I shook off his hand. Shin-Shurchin, I may be a doctor, but I'm not a savior. I have no obligation to save everyone, least of all the woman who stole my husband. Wan, he roared. How can you be so heartless? Su-ro is innocent. I remembered my past life. When I was starving to death in the slums, Su Ro was wearing my wedding dress, living in my house, spending my money, and basking in my husband's affection. Back then, did anyone ever say I was innocent? Shin Shurchin, you think I'm heartless? I turned to face him. Then find another doctor. The capital is full of physicians. Someone will surely be willing to save your precious muse. With those words, I walked out of the hospital without a backward glance. Shin Shurchin's agonized cries echoed behind me, but I had no intention of ever looking back. When I got home, I started packing my belongings. This luxurious mansion in the city center was purchased by Shin Shurchin for us when we got married. In my previous life, when I was driven out of here, I left with nothing. Shin Shurchin snarled at the time. Lin Wanwan, since you caused Su Ro's death, get out of this house, and don't you dare take anything with you. This time, I'm taking everything that rightfully belongs to me, my medical textbooks, my certificates of merit, and the potted plants I had cultivated with my own hands. Just as I was tidying up, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find Shin Shurchin's mother, Wang Meihua, standing at the doorstep. As the wife of the chairman of the Shin Group, she had always looked down on me, her daughter-in-law from an ordinary background. Wan, what are you doing? Wang Meihua's face darkened immediately when she saw me packing my luggage. Packing? I'm moving out, I replied flatly. Moving out? Why would you move out? She stepped into the room. Where's Shurchin? At the hospital. The hospital. Wang Meihua furrowed her brow. Is he sick? It's not him. It's his beloved Su Rong who needs heart surgery. I continued packing my things. But I didn't perform the operation, so she's probably dead by now. Wang Meihua gasped sharply. What did you say? You killed someone. I didn't kill anyone. I turned to face her. Aunt Wang, I simply declined to perform a surgery. Doctors have the right to choose their patients. Don't we? But Shurchin said you're the only one who can save her. He overestimated me. I sneered. No one in this world is irreplaceable, not me, and not Suru either. Wang Meihua looked at me with a kind of astonishment I had never seen before. Wanwan, you've changed. Yes, I've changed. I nodded. The old Lin Wanwan was too naive. The new Lin Wanwan is going to live for herself. You can't do this. Wang Meihua exclaimed anxiously. Shurchin, Aunt Wang. You know your son has feelings for another woman, don't you? I cut her off. Wang Meihua froze. She did indeed know. For the past 3 years, Shin Shurchin has been going to Suzhou every month to see Su Ro, staying for several days each time. I continued. Did you really think I didn't know? Wanwan, matters of the heart are complicated. Not complicated at all. I shook my head. Love is love, and if it's not, then it's not. Shin Shurchin doesn't love me, so I don't need to keep loving him either. Just then, Shin Shurchin returned. He rushed into the room, saw me packing my luggage, and his expression darkened even more. Wanwan, what are you doing? You saw what happened. I continued folding the clothes. You can't leave. He strode over, trying to stop me. Su Ro is still in critical condition. You have to go back and save her. I told you, I won't save her. Why? Shin Shurchin demanded, his eyes red-rimmed. What did she ever do to you? How can you stand by and let her die? I stopped what I was doing and turned to face him. Shin Shurchin, do you really want to know why? Of course, friend, because I knew if I saved her, you would marry her, I said, enunciating every word clearly. I didn't want to be the one to push my own husband into another woman's arms. Shin Shurchin's expression shifted. Wanwan, what nonsense are you talking? How could I possibly? What can't you do? Can't love her, can't marry her. I sneered. Shin Shurchin, do you think I'm blind? I walked up to him, staring straight into his eyes. In these 3 years, how many times have you called my name, and how many times have you called her name in your dreams? Shin Shurchin opened his mouth, but no words came out. You think I don't know why you went to Sioux City? You think I don't know about those photos hidden in your study? My voice grew colder. Shin Shurchin, I know everything, since I know it's not me you love. Why should I save the one you do? I'm a doctor, but I'm no saint. Wang Meihua watched us from the side, her expression growing darker. Enough, both of you, that's enough, Mom. Shin Shurchin started to say something. Shut up. Wang Meihua pointed at Shin Shurchin. Shurchin, tell me the truth, do you really not love Wanwan? Shin Shurchin fell silent. His silence spoke volumes. I picked up my suitcase and headed for the door. Shin Shurchin, I'll be waiting for you at the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow. If you don't show up, I'll file for divorce directly. Wanwan. Shin Shurchin tried to rush after me. Don't follow me, I said without turning back. Go be with your precious Moonlight. I hope she's still alive. The tragedy from my past life will never repeat itself. I moved into a small apartment near the hospital. I bought this place with my own savings. It's cozy, even if it's not very big. The next morning when I arrived at the hospital, the entire cardiothoracic surgery department was buzzing about yesterday's incident. Innocent, I heard Dr. Lin refused to operate on that patient, and she ended up dying. Really? But Dr. Lin never turns away patients, does she? Rumor has it that patient was Dr. Lin's husband's mistress. That's why she didn't save her. Oh my god, is that for real? As I stepped into the office, Nurse Wang immediately followed me in and said, Dr. Lin, yesterday how is Su-ro doing? I asked. She was transferred to another hospital, Wang said cautiously. I heard Mr. Shin arranged for the best cardiac surgeon in the capital to perform her surgery. I nodded. This was within my expectations. Shin Shurchin wouldn't just stand by and watch Su-ro die. He would definitely do everything in his power to save her. Was the surgery successful? It was successful. But Xiao Wen trailed off, hesitating to continue. However, the specialist noted that Miss Su's heart damage is quite severe. She may require regular checkups going forward and must avoid significant emotional fluctuations. In other words, although Su-ro survived, she has become a patient requiring constant care. This outcome is still somewhat better than in the previous life. In the previous life, the surgery I performed on Su-ro was highly successful. She recovered and became even healthier than an average person. At least now she can't act as recklessly as she used to, just as I was thinking. The director knocked and entered. Wan, I heard about what happened yesterday. The director sat down. As doctors, we shouldn't refuse to save someone in mortal danger. Director, I didn't refuse to save anyone, I said calmly. I simply declined to perform a surgery. That's my right, but the patient's family has filed a complaint, saying you refused to treat the patient due to personal issues. The director frowned. This could damage the hospital's reputation. How do you plan to handle this? You're suspended pending investigation, the director sighed. Wan, I know you're a good doctor, but this situation is really inappropriate. Honestly, I saw this coming. Shin Shurchin wouldn't let me off the hook that easily. Since he wants me to pay the price, he'll get exactly what he's asking for. I'd already lost everything in my previous life. Losing it all again in this one doesn't really matter. Stepping out of the dean's office, I saw Shin Shurchin waiting for me in the hallway. He looked terrible, with bloodshot eyes that suggested he hadn't slept all night. Wan, we need to talk. He approached me. There's nothing to discuss. I turned to leave. Suru's surgery was technically successful, but she'll be disabled for life. Shin Shurchin grabbed my arm. Are you happy now? I shook off his hand. This has nothing to do with me. How can you say it's none of your business? If you had performed the surgery on her back then, she wouldn't have ended up like this. Shin Shurchin. Get this straight. I turned to face him. You're the one who chose her, not me. Since you made that choice, you'll have to face the consequences. I didn't choose her. Shin Shurchin protested urgently. I never said I wanted a divorce with you, but you love her, I said calmly. Is it fair to her, loving someone yet not being able to be with her? Shin Shurchin froze. Shin Shurchin, let's get a divorce, I said again. It's for the best. I don't agree. He shook his head. Wan, I won't divorce you. Then I'll file for divorce. I shrugged. The outcome will be the same either way. With that, I turned and walked out of the hospital. I knew Shin Shurchin was following me, but I didn't look back. In my past life, I paid with my life trying to save this marriage, while walking down the street. My phone rang. Is this Dr. Lin? Wan, came a man's voice from the other end of the line. Yes, speaking. May I ask who's calling? This is Chu Shou-Yuan, head of the cardiothoracic surgery department at Union Hospital. The other person said, I'd like to discuss a professional opportunity with you. Union Hospital, that's the top private hospital in the capital, with far superior medical equipment and benefits compared to my current workplace. Director Chu, what did you need to see me about? We'd like to formally invite you to join our team, Chu Shou-Yuan said earnestly. We're well aware of your expertise and believe you'll find greater opportunities for growth here. Taken aback, I hesitated, but currently I understand your current situation, Chu Shou-Yuan interjected, but we believe a truly skilled doctor shouldn't be held back by external circumstances. This was an unexpected opportunity. In my previous life, I was still the chief physician at First People's Hospital when I died, and had never considered changing jobs. Now it seems a change of environment might be a good move. Director Chu, may I have some time to consider? Of course, Chu Shuyuan said with a smile. You're always welcome to join us. After hanging up, I suddenly felt the path ahead was bright and full of promise. Perhaps leaving Shinshurchen and that painful environment was the best choice after all. The next day, I went to Union Hospital. This hospital was far more luxurious than the First People's Hospital, with top-tier medical equipment and facilities. Chu Shuyuan was a man in his 40s, refined and cultured, giving off an air of reliability. Dr. Lin, welcome to our hospital, he said, personally giving me a tour of the entire cardiac surgery department. All equipment here are the latest models imported from Germany, with a 15% higher surgical success rate compared to standard devices. As I looked at those advanced medical devices, I felt a deep sense of longing. As a doctor, there's no one who wouldn't want to work in a better environment. Director Chu, what made you think of inviting me? I asked curiously. To be honest, I've been following your work for quite some time, Chu Shuyuan said with a smile. I've watched all your surgical videos. Your technique is truly exceptional. Especially that conjoined twin separation surgery you performed last year. It was textbook perfect. I nodded. That particular surgery was indeed the proudest achievement of my career. Dr. Lin, may I ask you something? Chu Shuyuan paused mid-step. When you declined to operate on that patient yesterday, was it due to technical considerations or other reasons? This is a straightforward question. After a moment's thought, I replied, other reasons. I see. Chu Shuyuan nodded. As doctors, we do have the right to choose our patients. Not every patient deserves our efforts to save them. I was somewhat taken aback, not expecting him to say something like that. Director Chu, don't you think my actions go against medical ethics? Medical ethics. Chu Shuyuan chuckled. Dr. Lin, what exactly constitutes medical ethics? Is it about treating every patient unconditionally, or helping those truly worth saving within our capabilities? I believe it's the latter. He said, looking at me. How can a doctor who can't even protect themselves possibly safeguard their patients? That statement made perfect sense. In my previous life, it was precisely my excessive kindness and selflessness that ultimately led to my downfall. Dr. Lin, if you're willing to join us, I can offer you the position of associate director with an annual salary of 2 million, said Chu Shuyuan. 2 million. That's exactly double what I earn at First People's Hospital. Director Chu, your offer is very tempting, but I need some time to consider it. Of course. Chu Shuyuan handed me a business card. I'll be here whenever you're ready to decide. Leaving Union Hospital, I was filled with conflicting emotions. On one hand, I truly needed a fresh start. On the other hand, I still had to finalize my divorce proceedings with Shinshurchen. Just as I was thinking, my phone rang again. This time it was Wan Meihua. Wan, where are you? She sounded exhausted. I'm out. What's the matter? Aunt Wang, could you come back for a moment? I'd like to talk with you. I hesitated for a moment. All right. When I returned to the Shin residence, I found Wan Meihua sitting alone in the living room, with Shinshurchen nowhere to be seen. He went to the hospital to accompany Su Ro. Wan Meihua had noticed my unspoken question. I nodded and sat down across from her. Wan, I want to ask you something, Wan Meihua said, looking at me. Are you really going to divorce Shurchen? Why, just because of Su Ro? It's not just because of Su Ro. I shook my head. Aunt Wang, has Shinshurchen been good to me these past 3 years? Wan Meihua fell silent. As my mother-in-law, she was well aware of how her son treated me. Although Shinshurchen was decent to me, his kindness felt more like what you'd give a roommate, not a wife. Aunt Wang, it's truly agonizing for a woman to be married to a man who doesn't love her, I said softly. I can't bear to live like this any longer. But Shurchen, he doesn't love me, that's the truth. I cut her off. If there's no love, why stay tied together? Wan Meihua sighed. Wan, as someone who's been through it, I want to tell you, love isn't everything in a marriage, but there should at least be some love, right? I said with a bitter smile. Yet Shinshurchen didn't leave even a shred of love for me in his heart. His heart has always belonged to Suru, right from our wedding day. Wan Meihua looked at me with guilt in her eyes. Wan, I'm sorry. Our Shin family has wronged you, Aunt Wang. There's no need to apologize. I shook my head. You can't force feelings. I understand that now. So what are you going to do? stepping out of the Shin residence, I felt an unprecedented lightness, divorce, and start a new life. I stood up, Aunt Wang, if there's nothing else, I'll be going now. Wait, Wang Meihua stopped me. If Shurchen is willing to cut ties with Suru, would you still give him another chance? I turned to face her. Aunt Wang, do you really think that's possible? Suru is ill now and needs someone to take care of her. Do you think Shurchen would just abandon her? Wang Meihua's lips parted, but no words came out. She knew that given Shurchen's character, he would never abandon Suru, so divorce is the best solution, I said with a gentle smile. This way everyone can find relief. In the following days, Shurchen remained at the hospital keeping Suru company. I heard through the grapevine that although Suru's condition has stabilized, her mental state is very poor. She knows she may never be able to live like a normal person again, and spends her days drowning in tears. Meanwhile, Shurchen stays by her side like a devoted guardian, never leaving her for a moment. Reading such news stirred no emotion within me. In my past life, I watched them love and stay together like this, until I ultimately died in despair. In this life, I've let go of it all. On the 5th day, I received a call from Chu Shouyuan. Dr. Lin, have you given it some thought? I've decided to accept your offer, I said. When can I start? Excellent. Chu Shouyuan sounded delighted. You can come anytime, we've already prepared everything for you. After hanging up, I began packing my belongings. I had already formally submitted my resignation to First People's Hospital. Despite the dean's repeated attempts to persuade me to stay, my mind was made up. I was in the middle of packing when the doorbell rang. Thinking it was a delivery person, I opened the door only to find Suru standing there. She was sitting in a wheelchair, her face pale and looking utterly exhausted. Dr. Lin, we need to talk. Her voice was faint. I stepped aside to let her in. Suru maneuvered her wheelchair into the living room and glanced around my small apartment. Dr. Lin, I didn't expect your place to be so modest, she remarked. I'm used to a simple life. I replied flatly. What did you need me for, Miss Su? I'd like to ask you a question. Su Rong said, looking at me. Why didn't you save me? The question was blunt. I thought for a moment. Because I didn't want to. But what? That's all there is to it. It's that simple. I nodded. Miss Su. I'm a doctor, but I'm not a philanthropist. Su Rue was silent for a moment. Dr. Lin, are you aware of my relationship with Shurchen? Do you resent me? Then, no, I don't. I shook my head. Miss Su, why would I have any reason to resent you? Suru looked surprised. I stole your husband, and you don't hate me. You didn't steal my husband, I said with a laugh. Miss Su, Shurchen was never mine. From the very first day of our marriage, you were the only one in his heart. I was just occupying the position of a wife. In reality, I was nothing to him. A flicker of guilt passed through Suru's eyes. Dr. Lin, I'm sorry, no need to apologize. I shook my head. You can't force matters of the heart. Dr. Lin, there's something I'd like to tell you, Suru said suddenly. Shurchen has been singing your praises to me these past few days. I was somewhat surprised. Really? He said you're the most wonderful woman he's ever met, kind, intelligent, and capable. Suru looked at me. He said if it weren't for me, he would have loved you properly. What would I do without you? How ironic. Miss Su, save those words for Shurchen. I stood up. I have other matters to attend to. Dr. Lin, wait. Suru stopped me. I'd like to ask you a favor. What kind of favor? Please divorce Shurchen. Suru's words left me stunned. What do you mean? I know Shurchen won't initiate the divorce because he feels guilty toward you, Suru said, but we're in love. And dragging this out helps no one. As I looked at her, it suddenly struck me how absurd the whole situation was. In our previous life, she was the one who'd asked Shurchen to divorce me first. I nodded and said, I understand. She claimed she didn't want to be the other woman or break up someone else's family. Shurchen was so moved by her noble character that he chose her without hesitation. Don't worry, Miss Su, I said calmly. I'd decided to divorce Shurchen. Su Rong let out a sigh of relief. Really? Yes, I nodded, but not because you asked me to. This is my own decision. Thank you, Dr. Lin. Gratitude shone in Su Rong's eyes. I'll make sure Shurchen compensates you properly. Compensation. In my previous life, Shurchen gave me an apartment as compensation, but later, he reclaimed the apartment under the pretext that I owed him debts. In the end, I was left with nothing. No, thank you. I shook my head. Miss Su, I don't need any compensation. After Su-ro left, I continued packing my belongings. Tomorrow, I'll be starting a new chapter of my life. As for Shin-chen and Su-ro, let them live their happily ever after. I will not interfere any further. The next day, I officially began my employment at Peking Union Medical College Hospital. Chu Shou-yuan arranged a private office for me, equipped with state-of-the-art medical facilities. Dr. Lin, here's your schedule for the day. He handed me a document. You'll be leading a coronary artery bypass graft procedure this afternoon. After reviewing the medical records, I saw the patient was a businessman in his 50s with multiple coronary artery blockages requiring bypass surgery. No problem, I nodded. The afternoon procedure went smoothly, and the patient's family was deeply grateful. Dr. Lin, we can't thank you enough. The patient's wife grasped my hand with tear-filled eyes. The doctors said if we'd waited one more day, my husband might have. It's my pleasure, I said with a gentle smile. After completing the surgery, I felt a long-lost sense of accomplishment wash over me. This is what I'm meant to do, treating patients who genuinely need help, not like in my past life, when I saved an undeserving woman for the sake of an unworthy man. Just as I was getting ready to leave work, Chu Shou-yuan knocked and entered. Dr. Lin, today's surgery was performed excellently, he said approvingly. The patient's family wanted to give you a red envelope, but I declined on your behalf. Thank you, Director Chu. By the way, there's something I'd like to discuss with you, Chu Shou-yuan said as he sat down. There's an international cardiothoracic surgery symposium next month, and I'd like to recommend you to attend. An international symposium. This is a rare opportunity for any cardiac surgeon. Director Chu, I've only just joined the department. Precisely why we should showcase our hospital's capabilities to the wider medical community, Chu Shou-yuan said with a smile. Dr. Lin, your surgical skills make you perfectly qualified to represent our institution. I thought it over and said, all right, I agree. Excellent. Chu Shou-yuan beamed. The meeting is on the 15th of next month in Shanghai. You'll have plenty of time to prepare your speech. After work, I returned to my compact apartment, though modest in size. Its tranquil atmosphere never fails to put me at ease. I was just about to start making dinner when my phone rang. Dr. Lin, it's Su-ro. Came Su-ro's feeble voice from the other end of the line. Ms. Su, what can I do for you? In this life, I'll never make the same mistake again. Dr. Lin, I'd like to ask you to perform another surgery on me, Su-ro said. I was taken aback. What surgery? As you know, I may have survived, but I'll likely be confined to a wheelchair. Su-ro's voice trembled with tears. But if you'd perform the surgery, there's still hope for my recovery. It was an unknown number. I let out a cold laugh. Miss Su, do you really think I'd agree? Hello, Dr. Lin, I know I have no right to ask this of you, but what? I cut her off. But Shin-chen said you're the only one who can save me. Su-ro sobbed. He said if you refuse to help, he'll never forgive himself for the rest of his life. Shin-chen, he's pulling the emotional blackmail card again. In my past life, he used this exact method to force me into submission. Miss Su, whatever Shin-chen says is none of my concern, I said calmly. As I've already told you, I won't perform the surgery for you. Dr. Lin, I'm begging you. Su-ro sobbed even more desperately. I can pay you any amount you want. Money isn't something I lack. What do you want? I'll give you anything. I want nothing. My voice grew colder. Miss Su, I just want you and Shin-chen out of my life. But soon, the phone rang again. This time, it was Shin-chen. /Wan. I know Su-ro was the one who called you. His voice was weary. I need to talk to you. We have nothing to discuss. /Wan. Please, I'm begging you, save Su-ro. Shin-chen's voice was pleading. I know I've wronged you, but Su-ro is innocent. She's not innocent. I said coldly. Shin-chen. How can a woman who knowingly gets involved with a married man be considered innocent? Shin-chen. Let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow to finalize our divorce, I stated directly. You decide the time and place. I won't divorce you, Shin-chen said finally. Then I'll file for divorce, I said without hesitation. The outcome will be the same. Wan. Why are you so set on divorce? Shin-chen's voice was pained. Can't we go back to how things were, back to the past? Back to the days when he only had Su-ro in his heart and treated me as a mere tool. Shin-chen, there was never anything between us to begin with. How can we talk about going back to the past? I smiled bitterly. there was never a place for me in your heart. That's not true, Wan. Enough, I cut him off. Shinshirchin, if you truly care about me, let me go. Let me find someone who will truly love me. With that, I hung up the phone and blocked his number. This time, I won't let my heart soften. For the next few days, Shinshirchin didn't contact me again. I thought he'd finally come around and was ready to let go, but I soon realized I was mistaken. Chu Shuyuan came to me with a grim expression. Dr. Lin, I'm afraid I have some bad news, he said as he sat down. The hospital board has decided to suspend your duties. Someone has reported concerns about your medical ethics, alleging you refused to treat a patient. Chu Shuyuan sighed. While I know these are false accusations, the board has decided to investigate the matter first. I see, this must be Shinshirchin's doing. Director Chu, do you believe me? I asked. Of course I do, Chu Shuyuan said without hesitation, but the situation is complicated now. The other party has powerful connections, and there's nothing I can do about it. I see, I nodded. I'll head back and wait for updates then. Leaving the hospital, I felt utterly miserable. Is Shinshirchin trying to ruin my career? When I got home, I found someone standing at my door. It's Wang Meihua. Wan, you're finally back. She walked over to me as soon as she saw me. Aunt Wang, what are you doing here? I need to talk to you. Wang Meihua's expression was serious. Can I come in? I opened the door and let her in. Wan, I know all about Shirchin's actions. Wang Meihua sat down and said bluntly. It was completely out of line for him to report you and cost you your job. I was a bit taken aback, not expecting Wang Meihua to speak up for me. Aunt Wang, shouldn't you be on your son's side? Yes, I'm his mother, and I should support him. Wang Meihua sighed, but this time, I think he's made a mistake. Wan, whether you save Su Ro or not is your decision. He has no right to ruin your future. I looked at Wang Meihua, feeling genuinely touched. At least someone here understands right from wrong. Aunt Wang, thank you for understanding. Wan, I want to ask you something. Wang Meihua looked at me. If Shirchin is willing to cut ties with Suru, would you consider going back to him? I shook my head. No, because I don't love him anymore, I said calmly. Aunt Wang, feelings can change. I used to love Shinshirchin deeply and was willing to give everything for him, but now, all I feel toward him is disappointment. Wang Meihua fell silent. Aunt Wang, do you really think someone who truly loves you would ruin your future for another woman? I asked. Wang Meihua shook her head. Exactly, I said with a smile. Shinshirchin's actions speak for themselves. He doesn't care about my feelings at all. His only concern is whether Sura makes a full recovery. Wan, I'm so sorry, Wang Meihua said with tears in her eyes. Our Shin family has failed you. Aunt Wang, there's no need to apologize. I shook my head. This was Shinshirchin's decision. It has nothing to do with you. After Wang Meihua left, I began to contemplate my own future. With my hospital job gone and Shinshirchin scheming behind my back, it seems I can't stay in the capital any longer. Maybe I should move to another city and start over. Just as I was thinking that, my phone rang. It was Chu Shuyuan. Dr. Lin, I have great news for you. His voice was brimming with excitement. The head of cardiothoracic surgery at Shanghai First People's Hospital called me. They want to invite you to join their team. Shanghai. Director Chu, did you tell him about my situation? I did. Chu Shuyuan replied, but he said they only care about capability, nothing else matters. What's more, they're offering you the director position with an annual salary of 3 million. 3 million, that's $1 million more than my current income. Director Chu, I'll need some time to consider this. Of course, Chu Shuyuan said, but Dr. Lin, I suggest you accept the offer. Sometimes, a change of scenery is the best choice one can make. Chu Shuyuan was right. Perhaps a fresh start somewhere new truly was the best path forward. In the capital, Shinshirchin's influence runs too deep. It's nearly impossible for me to live a peaceful life here, but in Shanghai, I can start over. No one will judge me or point fingers because of my past. With that thought, I made my decision. Director Chu, please inform Shanghai that I accept their invitation. Excellent. Chu Shuyuan said cheerfully. Dr. Lin, I'm certain you'll have a brighter future in Shanghai. After hanging up, I started packing my belongings. This time, I'm leaving this city for good, leaving Shinshirchin behind, and starting a brand new life. 3 days later, I boarded the high-speed train to Shanghai. Director Huang from Shanghai First People's Hospital came to pick me up in person, a kindly man in his 50s. Dr. Lin, welcome to Shanghai. He shook my hand warmly. I've long heard of your reputation. And today I finally get to meet you in person. You're too kind, Director Huang. Not at all. I've watched your surgical videos. Your skills are truly exceptional, Director Huang said. Our hospital needs talents like you. The hospital arranged a fully furnished apartment for me near the hospital, which makes daily life very convenient. Dr. Lin, please take a few days to rest and get familiar with the surroundings. You'll start officially next Monday, Director Huang said. Thank you, Director Huang. After getting settled in, I sent Chu Shouyuan a text to let him know I'd arrived safely. Chu Shouyuan replied promptly, wishing you all the best during your time in Shanghai. Gazing at the city lights outside the window, I felt my heart swell with anticipation. Shinshirchen isn't here, neither is Su Ro. All those painful memories are gone. I can start over and finally be my true self. The next day, I reported to the hospital for duty. Shanghai First People's Hospital was even larger than Beijing's hospitals, with more advanced medical equipment. Dr. Lin, this will be your office. The head nurse showed me around the cardiothoracic surgery department. This is the operating room, and over here are the patient wards. I quickly got familiar with the environment and began my official duties. My first surgery was on an 8-year-old child with congenital heart disease. The child's parents were both factory workers who had exhausted their entire life savings on their child's medical treatment. Doctor, please, you have to save my child. The child's mother knelt before me, her face streaked with tears. Don't worry, I'll do everything in my power. I helped her up. The child's condition is complex, but there's still hope. The surgery lasted 6 hours and was a complete success. When I stepped out of the operating room and told the child's parents that the surgery was successful, they were too overwhelmed to speak. Yes, thank you, doctor, thank you. They kept bowing repeatedly, seeing the smiles on their faces. I felt a long-lost sense of fulfillment. This is what being a doctor is truly about, helping those who genuinely need it. Unlike with Suru, where I knew saving her would only bring harm upon myself, yet still had to act against my own will. The following months saw my work in Shanghai progress smoothly. I successfully completed numerous complex surgeries, building a strong reputation at the hospital. Director Huang was extremely pleased with my performance, even offering to recommend me for international academic conferences. Director Lin, your surgical skills are on par with international standards, he remarked. Our hospital takes pride in having a physician of your caliber. Life is gradually getting back on track. I got a membership at a nearby cafe where I stop by after work every day to sit for a while, read, and unwind. I've also made some new friends, and everyone has been really kind. Most importantly, no one here knows about my past, and no one judges me for refusing to treat Suru. I'm Lin Wanwan, just an ordinary cardiac surgeon, nothing more, nothing less. Just when I thought life would continue on this peaceful track, an unexpected piece of news shattered the calm. That day after work, I was reading at a cafe when I suddenly received a text message. It was from an unknown number. Dr. Lin, I'm a reporter from Capital Daily. I'd like to interview you about your refusal to treat a patient. I frowned and deleted the text message, but soon enough, reporters from other media outlets reached out to me. It seems someone deliberately leaked my story to the press. It didn't take a genius to figure out Shinshirchen was behind this. Seeing that I had left the capital and he couldn't get back at me directly, he tried to ruin my reputation through the media, but I wasn't afraid. I hadn't done anything wrong, so what was there to fear? The next day, an article about me appeared online. Headline: Renowned doctor refuses treatment over personal grudge. Where's the medical ethics? The article details my refusal to perform surgery on Su Ro, accompanied by my photo, though not explicitly named. Anyone familiar with the situation would immediately recognize it's about me. The comment section is flooded with criticism. Does a doctor like this even deserve to be called a doctor? Doctors are supposed to have compassion. Has a dog eaten her heart? Her medical license should be revoked. As I read these comments, I felt completely unmoved. Just some online bullying. I'd been through worse, but soon, the situation began to escalate. Media in Shanghai started paying attention to the matter. Putting the hospital under pressure, Director Huang came to see me with a grave expression. Director Lin, you're aware of the current situation, he sighed. The hospital administration would like to understand the specifics. I understand, I nodded. Director Huang, what would you like to know? Are you truly refusing to treat a patient due to personal grievances? I thought for a moment. Yes. Director Huang was taken aback, clearly not expecting me to admit it so straightforwardly. Could you tell me the specific reason? so I told him the whole story from beginning to end, including Shin Shurchen's affair, Su-Ro's identity, and the history between Shin Shurchen and me. After hearing this, Director Huang remained silent for a long time. Director Lin, I understand your perspective, he finally said. If I were in your position, I might have made the same choice. But the pressure from the media and the public is intense, and the hospital, I understand. I cut him off. Director Huang, if the hospital feels I'm not suitable, I'm willing to resign voluntarily. No, that's not what I meant. Director Huang quickly waved his hands in protest. Director Lin, you're an excellent doctor, and we don't want to lose you, but the current situation is indeed quite complicated. I need to figure out a solution. It was a Beijing number. 11, it's me, came Shin Shurchen's voice. I furrowed my brow. How did you get my number? That's not important, Shin Shurchen said. What matters is that you're in trouble now. Was it you who set me up? It wasn't me, Shin Shurchen replied, his voice weary. It was Su-Ro's father. He's the chief editor of the Capital Daily. Is Su-Ro's father in the media industry? That's quite unexpected news. Why would he do that? Because Su-Ro's condition is deteriorating rapidly, Shin Shurchen explained. The doctors said she might not make it through the winter without a second surgery soon. But no doctor in the capital dares to take on this surgery now. They all say the risks are too high. So Su-Ro's father is trying to use public pressure to force you to come back and perform the surgery for her. This is an attempt to emotionally blackmail me into submission under the weight of public opinion, Shin Shurchen. Do you really think I'd agree? I sneered. Wan, I know you hate me, but Su-Ro is innocent. Shin Shurchen pleaded, his voice trembling. Please, I'm begging you, save her. She's not innocent, I said coldly. Shin Shurchen, how can a woman who knowingly gets involved with a married man be considered innocent? Besides, her current situation is the result of her own choices. If she chose to steal someone else's husband, she must face the consequences. Shin Shurchen, tell Su-Ro and her father. I cut him off. Even if the whole world condemns me, I won't perform the surgery on her. If she wants to die, let her. It's none of my business. Director Huang listened with a deeply conflicted expression. Director Lin, the situation is truly delicate, he said. The other party has powerful connections, and the media influence is substantial. Director Huang, what are you suggesting? Our hospital may not be able to withstand this kind of pressure. Director Huang sighed. If you could find a way to clarify this matter, or I could resign voluntarily, I said bluntly. Director Huang remained silent, but his silence spoke volumes. I nodded. I understand. Director Huang, I'll think it over. That night, I was alone in my apartment, lost in thought. The situation is truly dire. Media pressure has brought the hospital's operations to a standstill. If I stay here any longer, I'll only end up dragging more innocent people into this mess. Perhaps leaving is the best way forward. I opened the door to find a middle-aged man I didn't recognize standing at the entrance. Are you Dr. Lin Wanwan? He inquired. I'm Su-Ro's father, Su Jiangwo, he said. I'd like to speak with you. Su Jiangwo, the chief editor of Capital Daily. Is that the one, Mr. Su? We have nothing to discuss. I moved to close the door. Dr. Lin, please, I'm begging you, just hear me out. Su Jiangwo stopped me. I know you resent my daughter, but she's truly on the verge of death. And what of it? I stared at him coldly. Mr. Su, whether your daughter lives or dies is no concern of mine. Dr. Lin, I can pay you. I'll give you any amount you want. Su Jiangwo pleaded desperately. Name your price. Just save my daughter. I don't need your money. Then what do you want? I'll give you anything. I want nothing from you, I said coldly. Mr. Su, I just want you and your daughter out of my life. Dr. Lin, I'm begging you. Su Jiangwo suddenly dropped to his knees. My daughter is still so young, she can't just die like this. As I watched Su Jiangwo kneeling before me, I felt not an ounce of sympathy in my heart. In my past life, when I was starving to death in the slums, did anyone ever kneel for me? Mr. Su, your daughter is young, I said coldly, but does that mean others aren't? Did she ever consider how others felt when she stole someone else's husband? She's reaping exactly what she sowed. I know, Dr. Lin. My daughter she what? She's innocent, she's kind. I cut him off. Mr. Su, a woman who knowingly gets involved with a married man, where's the innocence in that? Where's the kindness? Su Jiangwo's mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Mr. Su, please leave. I started closing the door. Even if you knelt here until you died, I wouldn't change my mind. Dr. Lin, wait, Su Jiangwo suddenly exclaimed. If you're willing to save my daughter, I can make Shinshirchen cut all ties with her completely. I paused my movement. What do you mean? I can make Shirchen leave my daughter and never see her again, Su Jiangwo said urgently. That way, you can get back together with him. I looked at Su Jiangwo and suddenly found the whole situation utterly ridiculous. Mr. Su, do you really think I'd still want Shinshirchen? Don't you love him anymore? I did love him once, but not anymore, I said calmly. Mr. Su, what's there left to love about a man who destroyed my future for another woman? And even if Shinshirchen were willing to come back to me, I wouldn't take him, I continued, because I'm not that foolish woman anymore. Mr. Su, if your daughter wants Shinshirchen, she can have him, but asking me to save her, absolutely out of the question. With that, I closed the door. Su Jiangwo wept and pleaded outside the door for a long time, but I never opened it again. The online attacks intensified the next day. Someone even doxed my Shanghai address, and protesters showed up at the hospital entrance. Director Huang came to see me again, his face grim. Dr. Lin, the situation has spiraled beyond our control, he said helplessly. The hospital administration has decided to suspend your duties. I nodded. I understand, Director Lin, I'm sorry. Director Huang said apologetically, you're an excellent doctor, but the current situation, Director Huang. There's no need to apologize. I shook my head. This isn't your fault, nor the hospital's. Some people have simply gone too far. Leaving the hospital, I walked through the streets of Shanghai with a heart full of weariness. It seems no matter where I flee, Shinshirchen and Su Ro will never let me be. They're determined not only to ruin my career but also to tarnish my reputation. In that case, I won't run anymore. It's time to put an end to this matter once and for all. I took out my phone and dialed a number. Hello. I'd like to report a case of medical fraud. Yes, I'm reporting Su Ro for forging medical records and defrauding the health insurance system 3 years ago. In my past life, I chose to remain silent to protect Shinshirchen's reputation. This time around, I'm going to show everyone who Su Ro really is. Since she wants to play games, I'll see this through to the end with her. Story 2. I fell in love at first sight with Lin Xuanan. My elder brother's close friend. I originally thought that he would reject me because of the 10-year age gap between us. However, on my 22nd birthday, he claimed me without reservation. I was with him for 5 years. When I carefully brought up the idea of whether we should make our relationship public, he smiled and took me to a sanatorium. In the luxurious single room lived his beautiful and vulnerable first love. Songji, Jiu, I can have fun with you. It doesn't matter how long it lasts, but my wife can only be her. In my previous life, I couldn't believe that our 5-year relationship was like a mirage. I made a big scene and refused to break up, making our relationship known to everyone. When his first love heard about it, she committed suicide due to depression. Lin Xuanan hated me to the core. After I was kidnapped, he cut off the distress call I made to my family. He watched indifferently as I was killed after the ransom was not paid. And I died a tragic death in the mountains where no one cared. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day he took me to the sanatorium. This time, I smiled and blessed them, and booked a plane ticket to go abroad. 1. Her name is Songji, the love of my life hidden deep in my heart. I stared blankly at the pale and broken girl in the room, with Lin Xuanan's tender voice that seemed out of place ringing in my ears. I'm really sorry, Jiu. It's my fault for not making things clear to you. You will always be a special existence in my heart, but I can't give you a proper status. She is the only woman who will be my wife in the future. These heartless and despicable words struck my heart heavily. In my previous life, he said the same thing. I was on the verge of a breakdown and couldn't believe that for the man I loved, I was just a plaything to relieve his loneliness during these 5 years. I hysterically questioned him why he treated me like this. I refused his proposal to break up and made our relationship known to all. Songji was so frightened that she had a panic attack and curled up in his arms, shivering. I was like a crazy shrew, cursing Lin Xuanan fiercely. He soothed Songji, who was like a little rabbit, and patiently explained to her, she's just a delusional younger sister. Gigi, don't pay attention to her. The onlookers pointed at me, but I was completely unaware and continued to vent my anger wildly. This time, I didn't break down, nor did I overreact. I just lowered my head and smiled. At the moment I lowered my head, a tear rolled down my face. Lin Xuanan saw my tear, and his eyes became guarded. She became like this because of me. Jiang Ziyu, I hope you won't stimulate her. Our relationship must never be known to her. Seeing that I still didn't say anything, he was convinced that I would make a scene. His tone gradually became harsh. If your elder brother knew that you gave up the opportunity to go abroad for me when you were 22, what do you think he would do? Jiu, I hope we can all be more decent. I suddenly raised my head and interrupted him. I understand, Lin Xuanan. I wish you all the best. Let's break up. I looked straight into that face that I was so deeply addicted to. I watched as the smile on his lips froze. He was stunned. He opened his mouth, trying to find a trace of emotional breakdown on my face. Unfortunately, I was extremely calm. In the end, he swallowed back those words and shifted his gaze to Songji. It's good that you can see things clearly. I didn't want to stay there any longer. Just as I was about to turn around and leave, Songji saw us. Xuanan, you came to see me. Some light returned to Songji's dull eyes, and she walked over from the window. Lin Xuanan quickly stepped forward to greet her and carefully tucked the stray hair on her forehead behind her ear. Songji looked at me curiously, and the hostility in her eyes was impossible to ignore. Who is this? I spoke up before Lin Xuanan could. I'm the younger sister of his friend. Brother Xuanan said he wanted to bring me to see the woman he loves the most. In an instant, Lin Xuanan's face darkened a bit, and his gaze towards me became much darker. Songji took his arm and extended her hand as if declaring her sovereignty. Hello. I didn't shake her hand. I just took a few steps back and smiled gently. I won't disturb you today. I'll be leaving now. I turned around and left. Behind me, I heard Songji's delighted voice. Nan, the doctor said I can be discharged from the hospital next week. After all these years, thank you for waiting for me, too. The sanatorium was in the far suburbs, and I had to walk to the highway to hail a taxi. In my previous life, I refused to let go, which led to the death of Songji and my own death as well. This time, I just wanted to escape as quickly as possible. I took out my phone and booked a plane ticket to go abroad next Monday. After my father passed away, my elder brother took over the family company in the country. My mother was in poor health and was receiving treatment there. My elder brother always hoped that I could go and keep her company, because of my relationship with Lin Xuanan. I was determined to stay in the country. The year before last, my mother had a major operation and almost didn't survive. Even though I felt extremely guilty, I still didn't consider leaving Lin Xuanan. It's time for me to fulfill my filial duties properly. If it weren't for the fact that someone couldn't leave the company in the country, my elder brother would probably have already put immigration on the agenda. I can't let my family worry about me anymore. While I was lost in thought, a car stopped in front of me. The car window was rolled down, revealing Lin Xuanan's extremely dark face. Get in the car. Having been with him for 5 years, I knew him too well. This was a sign that he was angry. But Lin Xuanan, what right do you have to be angry? You betrayed my sincere feelings. I'm just you. You didn't see me turn into a hysterical shrew. What on earth are you angry about? I sighed, looked around at the desolate surroundings, and finally got in the car, subconsciously. Lin Xuanan leaned over to fasten my seatbelt for me. He had always been a gentleman, and in countless small details, he made me mistakenly think that he loved me deeply. I blocked his approach and pushed him away a bit. Thank you, I can do it myself. Lin Xuanan was stunned, then he suddenly grabbed my wrist, pressed me firmly against the passenger seat, and leaned over me. He kissed me fiercely. I couldn't break free and bit his lip hard in desperation. He let go in pain and wiped the blood that oozed from his lip. I expressionlessly fastened my seatbelt and turned my head towards the window. Drive. I want to go back to my elder brother's place. Lin Xuanan didn't listen. He took me back to the apartment where we had lived for 5 years. 3. Looking at the small home that I had decorated bit by bit, it would be a lie to say that my heart didn't ache. This relationship had always been in the dark, facing my refusal to go abroad. My elder brother often had headaches. Sis, who on earth is there in the country? You won't even go to accompany mom. Your brother will earn money for you two to spend. Isn't the laid-back life nice? I also hesitated and asked Lin Xuanan why he refused to make our relationship public. He had such a good relationship with my elder brother. Wouldn't it be great to have an even closer relationship? Every time I asked, he would always rub my hair and casually soothe me. Your elder brother has always cherished you the most. I'm 10 years older than you. If he knew that his precious younger sister was taken away by an old guy like me, wouldn't he fight me to the death? It wasn't until later, when I could no longer bear a relationship that couldn't see the light of day and decided to make it public, that he, seeing that he couldn't coax me anymore, took me to meet Songji. That's when I learned that there had always been a first love in his heart. Am I considered a mistress? I don't know. In my previous life, I was indignant and made our relationship public. I told everyone the details of our life together. When Songji heard about it, her depression flared up, and she jumped off the tall building of the sanatorium and died on the spot. Lin Xuanan handled her funeral in the capacity of her husband and has hated me ever since. Coincidentally, I was kidnapped by the rival of my elder brother. When I was panicking and made countless distress calls, they were all cut off. Finally, one call was connected, but it was Lin Xuanan's cold voice on the other end. Jiang Ziyu, stop struggling. You refused to break up decently and caused Gigi's death. Then you can go down there and apologize to her. That person hated my elder brother so much that he regarded me as a plaything to vent his anger. I was tortured for 3 whole days. When I was on the verge of death and thrown into the mountains, I still had my last breath left. Watching the shadows of huge wild animals slowly approaching me, I closed my eyes as if I were finally relieved. Songji, I'm giving you back your life. The pain of being torn apart alive made me shiver involuntarily. Lin Xuanan noticed it and frowned as he asked me, are you cold? I didn't answer and turned around to go back to the bedroom. Anyway, I would have to come here to pack my things later, so it would save me another trip. Seeing me take out the suitcase, Lin Xuanan strode over and overturned it. Jiang Ziyu, what on earth are you trying to do? What am I trying to do? Didn't you say we should break up? Didn't you take me to see your solemn promise because you were afraid that I would cling to you? Now why is it that I'm the one making trouble? That's not what I meant. There was a hint of evasion in Lin Xuanan's eyes. Then what do you mean? After being your bed partner in the dark for so many years, do you expect me to continue being shameless even after knowing what's in your heart? I looked at him sarcastically and took a step forward. Lin Xuanan, do you really love Songji? Why do you love her but can't stand being alone and have lied to me for a whole 5 years? Why are you clearly afraid that she will be affected, but you're unwilling to let go when I decide to move on? Do you really love her? Or do you just enjoy the thrill of being chased? I love Lin Xuanan. I decided to love him the first time I saw him at my coming-of-age ceremony when I was 18. I had never seen someone who smiled so beautifully. After my father passed away, my mother was not around, and my elder brother was busy with work. Lin Xuanan became the first man who stayed in my life after my view of love was fully formed, even during the Chinese New Year's Eve of those 2 years. When my elder brother was too busy with social engagements to come home, it was he who rushed over to accompany me. After we counted down together, he took out the cake from my favorite dessert shop as if by magic. With the fireworks all over the city, he said to me, Happy New Year, little one. I enjoyed his unconditional company and preference, but perhaps, at that time, although he was looking at me, he was thinking of Songji in his heart. After saying goodbye to me with a smile, he would rush to the person he loved the most. I had his brief countdown time, while Songji had his company for the whole night. Unfortunately, I didn't know that at that time. Lin Xuanan couldn't answer my questions. Perhaps he himself didn't know when he started to go astray. I quickly packed my luggage, but at that moment, there was a knock on the door. Nan, this is a surprise. Songji carried her luggage and jumped into his arms with a smile. Lin Xuanan was obviously stunned too. Aren't you supposed to be discharged from the hospital next week? Songji hugged him tightly and greedily inhaled his scent. Actually, I could be discharged today. I specially asked the doctor not to tell you. I wanted to give you a surprise. Then you should have told me so that I could go and pick you up. I stood there calmly, quietly watching the scene of the lovers reuniting. Songji emerged from his arms and coquettishly directed him to carry the luggage into the room. The moment she met my eyes, her smile froze instantly, and her whole body started to tremble. Nan, isn't she your younger sister? Why is she here so late? Lin Xuanan was flustered for a moment and quickly stepped forward to hug her. Gigi, listen to me explain. Songji was very emotional and questioned him with tears in her eyes. Do you not want me anymore? Do you dislike me now? You said you would wait for me. Were all those words false? I smiled and soothed her. Sister Songji, don't misunderstand. My elder brother stayed at Brother Xuanan's place for a few days some time ago and left some things here. I'm here to pick them up for him. If you don't believe me, look, the furnishings in this room are clearly those of a single man's residence. My elder brother did come here often. In order not to let him find out, I decorated the place according to Lin Xuanan's preferences. Except for a few of my clothes in the wardrobe, there were no other traces of my existence in other places. It's quite ironic. I had been in this home for a whole 5 years, but the things that could prove my existence couldn't even fill half a suitcase. It seemed as if I had been there, Yet it also seemed as if I had never existed. Songji calmed down, half believing. After I said goodbye and was about to leave, Songji grabbed me and wouldn't let me go. Sister Jiyu, I was out of line just now. Can you stay and not leave? This was a bit absurd, seeing that I was not happy about it. She quickly explained, I've been living in the sanatorium for a whole 10 years. Besides Nan, I don't have any friends. I've seen you twice today, and I feel so close to you. Can you please stay and keep me company? Just as I was about to refuse, I looked up and saw Lin Xuanan's almost pleading gaze. Anyway, I was going abroad in 5 days. I also wanted to see if Lin Xuanan really loved Songji that much. 5. Lin Xuanan took Songji into the master bedroom where we usually lived. I chose the mattress, and I personally laid the bed sheets. Even the aromatherapy by the bedside was carefully selected and bought back by me. When I walked into the adjacent guest bedroom, I saw Songji holding the aromatherapy and looking at Lin Xuanan moved. Nan, you still remember that this is my favorite scent. No wonder Lin Xuanan only used this kind of aromatherapy. No wonder he lit the aromatherapy every night when we were passionately entangled. Lin Xuanan, when you held my body. Whose face did you imagine? I felt sorry for my 5 years with him. After taking a shower, Songji came to my room. She was like a gentle elder sister, telling me about her past with Lin Xuanan. It was a fairy tale of childhood sweethearts. Unfortunately, the princess in the story's family declined, and she became the target of everyone's bullying. After the prince returned from studying abroad, he found that the princess he held dear in his heart had been tortured and driven to a mental breakdown by his former archenemy. The prince punished those bad guys and protected the princess well. This protection lasted for 10 years until the princess completely got rid of the previous shadows and decided to start a happy new life with the prince. Songji asked me if the princess was very brave. Fairy tales have always been dark. After the prince married the princess, he made the beautiful princess gradually turn into a resentful woman wasted by daily necessities. Songji's prince wasn't that infatuated either. It took him 4 years to win the heart of another girl, and then another 5 years to give that girl a taste of ordinary life. His guilt towards Songji only lasted for a mere year. But I didn't say anything. I smiled and said yes. I smiled and wished them a good life in the future. Songji didn't respond. Instead, she stared into my eyes meaningfully. Maybe there will be some insignificant passers-by around the prince, but the princess is the only one who can accompany him through the long years of life. Jiyu, don't you think so? It turned out that Songji wasn't stupid. At night, I couldn't fall asleep. I tiptoed to the balcony to enjoy the moon. In the past, this place was Lin Xuanan's exclusive spot. He had poor sleep quality. Whenever I woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't find him, he would definitely be on the balcony, with a cigarette in one hand and a glass of wine in the other. There was an air of boundless melancholy on his face that I couldn't stand. I would always ask, "What are you worried about?" He would smile good-naturedly, put out the cigarette butt, and then pull me into his arms. There are too many troubles in the adult world. My little one should always be happy. I struggled unconvinced. I'm already 23 years old, so, don't exclude me from your world. Don't make me unable to understand your melancholy. He didn't answer anymore. Instead, he rested his chin on the top of my head and seriously admired the moon. So, was he missing his fallen first love at that time? Thinking of this, I began to dislike the moon a bit. Suddenly, there was a commotion coming from the master bedroom. The man's low growl and the woman's sounds of pleasure intertwined and lingered in the master bedroom that I had decorated with my own hands. Most likely, this was the real reason why Songji wanted me to stay. 6. On the 4th day before going abroad, I never expected such a strange scene to occur. After staying up all night, I was about to leave in the morning when Songji called out to me from behind. Jiyu, you didn't hear any noise last night, did you? The provocation in her eyes lost the cover it had the previous night. I smiled and shook my head. I sleep like a log. Even thunder couldn't wake me up at night. She bit her lip, looking somewhat unwilling. Then, she insisted on having me stay for breakfast. So, the three of us sat at the dining table in an extremely strange atmosphere. Nan, I want to go to the amusement park. Can you take me? Lin Xuanan immediately took out his phone to buy tickets. Wrong. It's not 2 tickets, but 3. Lin Xuanan glanced at me guiltily. Why 3? Aren't we 2 going? Songji smiled at me. Jiyu accompanied me and chatted for so long last night. We should thank her. I don't have any other friends, so of course we'll go together. I was getting tired of these meaningless tests. I'm going to my elder brother's place for dinner today. You two can go by yourselves. Songji's smile faded, and a layer of mist welled up in her eyes. Nan, does Jiyu not like me? I've lived in the sanatorium for 10 years. Besides you, there's no one else in my life. I really want to be friends with Jiyu. Did she dislike me after hearing about my experiences last night? Lin Xuanan's expression, which originally had a trace of guilt, suddenly turned into an order for me. Jiang Jiyu, come with us. I suddenly stood up and looked at him sarcastically. Brother Xuanan. I call you brother because of your relationship with my elder brother. Do you really think of yourself as my brother? Even my own elder brother wouldn't force me to do things I don't want to do. What right do you have to force me? You asked me to stay last night, and I did. I also listened to the touching love story between you and Sister Songji. You two haven't had a normal couple's life for 10 years. I don't want to be a third wheel. You two can enjoy your meal. I'm leaving now. This time, no matter how Songji acted, I didn't stay. 7. I put my things back in my small apartment and drove to my elder brother's company. He was very surprised to see me, the busy person who doesn't know what she's been up to all day. How come you have the time to inspect the work? My nose twitched with a pang of sadness. I had always only had Lin Xuanan in my eyes. As if I had neglected the people who truly cared about me. My elder brother was clearly only in his 30s. But in order to preserve the hard work left by our father, he had worked so hard that the hair at his temples had turned white. In my previous life, after learning that I was killed, my elder brother's hair turned white overnight. He blamed himself for not noticing my disappearance and wondered why I didn't call him for help. He didn't know that Lin Xuanan had cleared all those call records. He started to reflect on why he wasn't worthy of my trust and almost drove himself crazy. Looking at my elder brother's doting eyes, I held back my tears. Don't I miss you? Your birthday is tomorrow, and I'm going to move back and stay with you for a few days. My elder brother smiled broadly. I'm really flattered, brother. I booked a plane ticket to go abroad next Monday. From now on, I'll stay there and accompany Mom well. You can focus on your work in the country with peace of mind. When you're tired, come and find us. My elder brother smiled with satisfaction. We went out for dinner together in the evening, and unexpectedly, we met Lin Xuanan in the restaurant. What bad luck, I thought to myself. My elder brother warmly greeted them to come over. Lin Xuanan remained silent, but Songji looked apologetic. Sorry, Jiyu, I made you unhappy this morning. Nan really didn't mean to force you. He just cared about my feelings. Please don't blame me. My elder brother sensed something was wrong and stared at Lin Xuanan with a disapproving look. What did you do to my sister? I quickly interrupted to explain. I was thinking of moving back. Last time you complained that you left some things at Brother Xuanan's place when you stayed there. I thought I'd bring them back for you by the way. Just then, Sister Songji was discharged from the hospital. She said she liked me and asked me to stay at home for one night. The next day, she asked me to go to the amusement park with them. I was too tired and didn't want to go. So I came straight to you. Fortunately, my elder brother was not picky about such things in life, and I was also careful. I really took away the things he had left at Lin Xuanan's place, otherwise, it would have been really hard to explain. My elder brother let out a sigh of relief and playfully punched Lin Xuanan. You kid, the woman you've been longing for has finally come back. Stop taking care of my sister for me. Just live a good life, okay? Lin Xuanan glanced at me without showing any emotion and finally nodded silently. Songji, on the other hand, smiled brightly. It turned out that even my elder brother knew the person in his heart. No wonder he had hidden me so tightly. The dishes were served, and they forgot to tell the kitchen not to put rosemary in my portion. I was just about to exchange my plate with my elder brother's when a pair of big hands took my plate. It was Lin Xuanan. He naturally exchanged his plate with mine and even carefully cut the steak on my plate. You forgot to say that you're allergic to this. His actions were so natural that the whole table fell silent. Lin Xuanan's face suddenly changed slightly, and he looked at Songji beside him. Songji was shaking again. I exchanged the plate with my elder brother's again. When you asked him to send things to me back then, you talked about my allergies so many times, Brother Xuanan. You just take care of Sister Songji. You don't need to take care of me anymore just because of my elder brother's face. I was getting annoyed by Songji's shaking. 8. On the third day before going abroad, I helped my elder brother prepare a grand birthday dinner party. I didn't invite Lin Xuanan, but my elder brother did. He stood in front of the mirror adjusting his tie. You even forgot to invite your brother Xuanan. You little heartless one. I smiled bitterly and didn't refute. I didn't want the memories between my elder brother and me to be disturbed by a bad person. When the party started, I held my elder brother's arm and entered the banquet hall. Almost all the people who came were our family friends or my elder brother's business partners. Lin Xuanan also came with Song Ji. She was wearing a white evening dress, with her long hair tied up. She looked gentle and demure. She was holding a glass of juice in her hand and walked towards us with Lin Xuanan on her arm. I was wearing a long red evening dress. My hair, which was usually tied up, was lazily draped over my shoulders. Holding a glass of champagne, I slightly nodded towards them. Lin Xuanan frowned. He had always disliked my overly bright and eye-catching outfits. He had banned all the colors I liked. I didn't understand why he always liked to see me dressed simply. I only knew that in order to make him happy, I forced myself to become someone I wasn't. It wasn't until I met Song Ji that I realized that I was not only a plaything to relieve boredom, I was also a substitute. Happy birthday. He clinked glasses with my elder brother in tacit understanding. At this moment, a girl came over with a playful smile. Mr. Lin, is this the first love you've been thinking about all this time? You finally decided to bring her out. Oh, so everyone in the world knew about it. In my previous life, how could I have been so stupid? Song Ji looked a bit timid and shrank behind Lin Xuanan. This girl was the daughter of Mr. Chen, whom Lin Xuanan had been trying to win over recently. In my previous life, because of this reason, I became close friends with her. So, this time, Lin Xuanan didn't stand in front of Song Ji. Have a chat with Miss Chen. Gigi, your life should be filled with many people. Song Ji gritted her teeth and nodded timidly. Miss Chen pulled her away. As soon as they left, another person rushed over. It was the youngest son of the Gu group. He shyly raised his glass to my elder brother. Mr. Jiang, I've always heard that you have a sister, but I've never seen her before. She's really stunning this time. I wonder if there's a chance for me to get to know Miss Jiang. There's no such chance. Lin Xuanan squinted at him and took a sip of champagne indifferently. He answered faster than my elder brother. My elder brother looked at him like he was a crazy person and then smiled and declined the offer. Sorry, my sister is going abroad soon. I don't want to waste Mr. Gu's time. Lin Xuanan's glass was knocked over, and champagne spilled on his suit. He looked a bit flustered but had to suppress his emotions. Going abroad, when, next Monday, Jiyu has decided to go and accompany our mom, most likely. She won't be in the country anymore in the future, when the company stabilizes a bit more. I'll hand it over to a professional manager and then fly over to join them. Buddy, there won't be anyone to play with you in the country in the future, but don't worry, we'll definitely come to your wedding day. I smiled and echoed my elder brother's words. Yes, we'll definitely find the time to come back and witness your happiness. Lin Xuanan's face turned pale. Just as he was about to say something, he was suddenly interrupted by a shrill female voice. It was Song Ji. 9. We pushed through the crowd of onlookers and saw Song Ji lying on the ground. All the champagne and desserts had been spilled on her, and her white dress was stained horribly. Miss Chen looked at Lin Xuanan awkwardly. It's not me, Mr. Lin. My brother just politely shook hands with her, and then she suddenly went crazy and knocked everything over. Is there something wrong with your first love? I turned my gaze to Song Ji. She started shaking again and kept shouting, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Young Master Chen was a gentle and refined person. Song Ji's behavior made it seem like he had done something wrong. Even the most gentlemanly person would feel embarrassed at this moment. Mr. Lin, if your girlfriend has some problems, don't bring her out and cause trouble for others. Today is Mr. Zhang's birthday party. Making such a scene is like ruining the party. If you can't handle things at home well, it's hard not to doubt your ability at work. Let's put the cooperation on hold for now. After saying that, he pulled his sister away. My elder brother soothed the onlookers. For the first time, I saw boredom towards Song Ji in Lin Xuanan's eyes. Song Ji, however, didn't notice it at all and still hugged herself and shivered. I sighed and stepped forward to extend my hand to her. Get up first. You look really bad like this. Song Ji didn't even look at me. Instead, she looked at Lin Xuanan pitifully. Nan, Lin Xuanan frowned, but in the end, he stepped forward and helped her up. Gigi, you're not really better at all. Let me take you back to the sanatorium. Okay. Song Ji was stunned. I left tactfully. Who wants to care about their affairs anyway? 10. On the second day before going abroad, Lin Xuanan blocked the door of my house early in the morning. He looked haggard, with bloodshot eyes. He probably spent the whole night last night taking care of Song Ji. Why are you going abroad? Why didn't I know about it? He started with a question, his tone full of fatigue. I stared at him mockingly. Lin Xuanan, we don't have any relationship anymore. Whether I go abroad or not has nothing to do with you. You're not at home with your Gigi. Did you come here early in the morning just to ask me this question? Lin Xuanan stepped closer to me one step at a time. Jiang Ziyu, I don't remember ever saying that I wanted to break off our relationship. I almost laughed out tears. Then what? Your only wife has been discharged from the hospital. Do you want me to be your mistress who can never see the light of day? Lin Xuanan, I'm telling you, when I was with you, I was in a relationship with you with the intention of getting married. I won't be a substitute, and I won't be a bed partner who can't be seen in public. You were despicable and selfish and lied to me for 5 years. Wasting my youth to satisfy your need for entertainment. Now, do you still have the delusion of having both women? How on earth do you dare? There was an endless look of confusion in Lin Xuanan's eyes. It's not like that. I admit that my initial behavior was indeed despicable. You stood in front of me so vividly that I couldn't help but want to get closer to you. I know I should firmly wait for Song Ji, but I can't resist my feelings for you. How can you be so free and easy? Why can you pull away just like that? Even when it comes to going abroad, you can make the decision so gracefully. Why? Of course, it's because I've already died once. I understood it from the way he looked at Song Ji yesterday. In my previous life, because Song Ji died, he didn't experience how much patience it takes to live with someone who has mental problems. Over the years, Lin Xuanan has long lived a life that others look up to. How could he live a life of carefully taking care of others? It's ridiculous. In just a few days, the white moonlight he was obsessed with in his previous life has become the grain of rice on his clothes in this life. He seems unable to look directly at the sarcasm and ridicule in my eyes. Lin Xuanan avoided my gaze and tried to step forward and grab me. There must still be a way. Jiyu, don't leave, let's think of a way together, okay? I couldn't stand it anymore and slapped him hard in the face, wanting both. Lin Xuanan, do you even deserve it? I turned around without hesitation and saw my elder brother standing behind me with red eyes. He didn't say anything and didn't ask anything. He stepped forward and patted my shoulder reassuringly. 1 punch, 2 punches, 3 punches, until Lin Xuanan fell to the ground and couldn't get up again. 11. My elder brother didn't say anything and didn't ask anything. He just said that he had made a bad friend and had hurt me. How could that be? I lost my mind myself. It's not your fault, brother. All of you knew that there was someone in his heart, but I was so stupid that I believed his words. I gritted my teeth and was his backup for 5 years, leaving mom alone to live over there. I'm sorry for you guys. My elder brother had red eyes and waved his hand to stop me from talking. It'll be better in the future. Brother will come to find you guys as soon as possible. Then our family will never come back again. I nodded. Jiang Ziyu, open the door. There was a sudden rapid knock on the door outside. When I opened the door, it was Song Ji. She was barefoot, wearing the clothes from the sanatorium, and looking at me with a distorted face. Jiang Ziyu, you bitch, did Nan send me back to the sanatorium because of you? My elder brother stepped forward and stood in front of me. I gently pulled his hand. Let me deal with it myself. There are some things that one always has to handle on their own. My elder brother went upstairs. And I brought Song Ji into the house. She refused all my kindness and stubbornly refused to deal with the wounds on her feet. Running here from the sanatorium, she really went all out. Why do you say that? Song Ji let out a cold snort. The day at the sanatorium, I knew there was something wrong with you too. Every time Nan came to see me, I couldn't drive him away, but the day you left, he talked to me absent-mindedly. In less than a few minutes, he made an excuse that there was something wrong with the company and left first. He never used to be like that. She stared at me steadily, her face pale but determined. Do you believe a woman's intuition? The way Nan looks at you is different. I know that I've been out of touch with society for 10 years. I can't fit into his circle and I'm not worthy of him. But I became like this because of him. He can't abandon me. In fact, from beginning to end, Song Ji didn't do anything wrong. On the contrary, I was the one who killed her once. She just has an illness and can't control her emotions. In this life, her clumsy demonstrations of power are just struggles at the end of the road. The one who deserves to die has always been Lin Xuanan, whether you believe it or not. I only knew about your existence when I was at the sanatorium. Before that, I never knew there was a you in the world. I met Lin Xuanan when I was 18 and confessed my love to him and got together with him when I was 22. Later, we had a secret relationship for 5 years, and even my elder brother didn't know about it. I was tired of this kind of secretive life. so I proposed to make our relationship public. When he saw that he couldn't coax me anymore, he brought me in front of you and said that you were the woman he wanted to marry and that he was just having fun with me. After I knew about you, I drew a clear line with him immediately. You can rest assured, I carefully chose my words and tried to tell her the truth with words that wouldn't be too stimulating. Songji was stunned. It's impossible. If you hadn't been pestering Nan, how could he have treated me like this? He looks the same as before, but why is there a trace of impatience in his eyes? Why? If it's not because of you, then because of what? Songji is not stupid, she's even very perceptive. She'd rather imagine me as an enemy than admit that Lin Xuanan's promise to her only exists in the persona he created. I didn't answer her questions, I just looked at her compassionately. If I hadn't had the experience of my previous life, I probably would have been just as blind. After the gunshot, there are no winners. It seems that either Songji or I was destined not to be able to maintain dignity. The way she looked at me gradually returned to calm, she smiled, and the laughter, mixed with the thunder outside, sounded particularly mournful. Lin Xuanan rushed over. Seeing Songji in this state, he only thought of apologizing to me. My elder brother left a lot of injuries on him. The way he apologized with a swollen face was so ridiculous. Songji wasn't as collapsed as he expected. Instead, she obediently followed him away. Before he left, he turned back and took a look at me. That night, I didn't know that this was the last time we would see each other in this life. 12. On the last day before going abroad, my elder brother cooked breakfast for me himself and then sent me to the airport. On the way, my elder brother received a call from a mutual friend. There was a moment of silence on the other end. Buddy, Lin Xuanan is gone. It turned out that after Songji left that night, she clearly told him that she wanted to go home with him. Lin Xuanan was silent for a long time, but he still drove the car to the entrance of the sanatorium. He said, Gigi, don't be willful, I'll pick you up and take you home when you're better, I'll wait for you. It was his usual way of speaking, but his eyes were different. Songji probably felt the same way as I did. When you look at me, who are you thinking of in your heart? She calmly accepted it but asked Lin Xuanan to send her upstairs. Lin Xuanan seems to be crazy. Your sister just said she was going abroad, and he also booked a ticket for the same flight. Songji easily got his phone and saw the flight information. Only then did she realize that Lin Xuanan was no longer the Lin Xuanan from 10 years ago. So, she hugged him and they fell from the 10th floor together. Maybe she thought Lin Xuanan was going to abandon her and go abroad. She was so angry that she decided to die with him, this time. I smiled and blessed them and booked a plane ticket to go abroad. The person on the other end was still sighing, but only my elder brother was worried about my emotions and hung up the phone. I smiled happily at him. Probably, I've avenged what happened in my previous life. I never hoped that Lin Xuanan would have a good ending. If possible, I hope Songji will also have a chance to start over. Next time, don't protect others. The only person you should protect is yourself. Story 2. I was the quintessential troubled teen in those youthful pain novels, the one who smoked, skipped class, and got abortions, the busted school beauty. Just a few days ago, Xuan Nanyu, who had kissed me, turned around and asked me to seduce their class's aloof and unapproachable class president, Jiang Sen, because he was the crush of the girl Xuan Nanyu liked. In my previous life, I caused Jiang Sen to miss his college entrance exam and ruin his future. This time around, I dyed my hair back to black, put on a long skirt, and obediently sat beside him. Class president, take me with you to Tsinghua University. Later on, Jiang Sen and I were seen together frequently. Xuan Nanyu, mad with jealousy, exclaimed, Su Tang, have you become addicted to acting? Jiang Sen wrapped his arm around my waist and said, is he that idiot who scored 3 points on the math test? Tang Tang, stay away from him, don't catch his stupidity. It was when I realized I was just the fallen school beauty from those teenage angst novels, who smoked and skipped classes. I was being kissed by Xuan Nanyu in the men's restroom stall. He kissed me fiercely, his hand sneaking into my collar, even ripping off 2 buttons from my school uniform, all because today, Lin Xiaxia had rejected his confession. She confessed that the person she truly liked was their class leader, Jiang Sen. Xuan Nanyu, with his roguish charm, had almost dated every pretty girl at school. But this was the first time he was thwarted by a timid, innocent little white rabbit. Frustrated and with nowhere to vent, he pulled me into the men's restroom and kissed me without waiting. In my past life, it was in this cramped and dirty place that I lost my virginity. Later, due to an accidental pregnancy, I died of excessive bleeding during an abortion at a small clinic. Thinking of this, I kneed him hard between his legs. The boy, caught in his desires, yelped in pain. Su Tang, what are you doing? I glared at him. It's dirty. Xuan Nanyu glanced around impatiently and said, TSK, what a hassle. Let's change the location next time. Xuan Nanyu, I meant, you're dirty, I said disgustedly, wiping my lips violently with the back of my hand. Then I kicked open the door of the restroom stall and walked out, not wanting to stay another second with him. Xuan Nanyu, incredulous, widened his eyes. Su Tang, what are you pretending for? Weren't you the one who just said my kisses felt great? What, you got addicted to playing the part with Jiang Sen? Forget it. I hurried back to the classroom to rinse my mouth, not bothering to deal with him. It was during evening self-study. When I entered, all my classmates turned to look at me. Feeling uncomfortable, I sat back in my seat and noticed the seat next to me was empty. I asked the person behind me, where's Jiang Sen? The head teacher called him away. What for? Chi Weilong widened his eyes. Have you lost your memory? The monthly test results came out, and Jiang Sen dropped more than 400 places. Of course, he was called in for a talking to. What? Memories of my past life flooded back. On the day of the monthly test, I fainted from low blood sugar and was taken to the infirmary by a teacher. When I groggily woke up, I saw Jiang Sen sitting upright beside me. Why are you here? Shouldn't you be at the exam? I turned in a blank paper. Jiang Sen's voice was calm, as if he was discussing something not very important. He leaned over to tuck me in and asked, do you feel uncomfortable anywhere else? I'm dizzy. I deliberately made it difficult for him. Jiang Sen, I want to eat sugar now. Pear and osmanthus candy from the store in the north of the city. Okay. Without hesitation, he got up to make the purchase. Later, when the monthly test scores were released, he scored 0 in the comprehensive science section, falling from first in the grade to beyond 400th place for the first time. He also received a severe disciplinary action for climbing over the school wall and leaving the campus, a violation of school rules. At that time, I spitefully thought to myself, good, the top student has fallen from grace. Even the teachers who used to like him started to dislike him. Xuanan would surely be pleased. And now, director, I'm sorry. It's all my fault, I gasped as I burst into the office, bowing deeply to the head teacher. It was me who told Jiang Sen not to go to the exam and me who made him climb the wall to buy things for me. He's a good student who follows the rules. It was me who threatened him, saying if he didn't do as I said, I would have thugs outside the school teach him a lesson. I'm sorry, director, any punishment should go on my record, not his. He's supposed to apply to Tsinghua University, and his record can't have any blemishes. I was already known as a bad student with a terrible reputation in school, so getting involved in more trouble wasn't surprising. The head teacher believed my story without doubt, sent Jiang Sen back to the classroom, and then scolded me harshly. He said Jiang Sen was a rare super genius, a glory and hope for the school, with limitless potential. He told me, a good-for-nothing, to stay away from him, not to be a stumbling block on his bright future path. I earnestly nodded in agreement, knowing the terrible consequences of not doing so from my past life. As I walked out of the office, Jiang Sen's cold voice came from behind. Why did you lie for me? I turned to look at him. It turned out he hadn't left. He had been waiting here for me all along. The summer breeze swept through the hallway, ruffling his hair, his familiar eyes, like a deep, wise autumn night lake, yet oddly tinged with starlight, made me recall my past life. In my previous life, I and Xuanan accidentally got pregnant and were found out by the school and our parents. We were just 19, panicked and clueless. The class teacher and our parents pressed me to reveal the father of the child, so I falsely claimed it was Jiang Sen, since Xuanan disliked Jiang Sen. I disliked him too. I thought it wouldn't hurt to let him take the blame. I comforted myself with this thought. Of course, the class teacher didn't believe my lies, convinced of Jiang Sen's character, and vehemently accused me of lying. After all, with my notorious past and questionable morals, I was truly a bad student. But when he actually brought Jiang Sen to confront the situation, Jiang Sen just quietly looked at me and softly said, Su Tang isn't lying, it's mine. I turned my face away guiltily, but what Jiang Sen faced was a torrent of abuse and beating from my parents. The class teacher, ashen-faced and furious, stormed off. Jiang Sen was punished twice, and the school transferred the recommendation spot reserved for him to the second-ranked student. And on the day of the college entrance exam, coinciding with my death on the operating table, he, like during that monthly test, submitted a blank paper. I'm so sorry, Jiang Sen, I'm really sorry. Emotions surged, my voice choked. I sincerely apologized to him. Jiangsun furrowed his brows and walked over. What did the head teacher say to you? I struggled to hold back my tears. He told me to stay away from you, to stop bothering you. Did you agree? I nodded. I had once dragged Jiangsun into hell, tarnishing his reputation. Missing the college entrance exam seemed like a destroyed future, but now, there's still time as long as I make the boundaries clear with him. Steer clear of him, and stop bringing him trouble. Jiang Sen's gaze darkened, his fingers loosened then clenched. Su Tang, when did you start listening to the teachers so intently? He asked. I'm doing this for your own good, you'll understand later, I replied without further explanation, hurrying back to the classroom to pack up my things and move to a seat in the back corner. When Jiangsun returned, he found my desk empty. He pursed his lips and remained silent, focusing on solving problems and reading as usual. Lin Xiaxia, seeing the situation, walked over with her workbook, her voice soft and gentle. Class leader, I'm stuck on this physics question, could you help me? She was about to sit next to him, but as she stepped forward, Jiang Sen's hand pressed down on the stool where I used to sit. With a pull of his forearm, the stool was moved far away. Maybe tomorrow. I haven't finished my paper yet, he said. Lin Xiaxia almost sat on nothing. Thinking he was in a bad mood because he'd been scolded, she tried to comfort him. Class leader, don't be sad, I know you're capable, you'll definitely top the grade in the next monthly exam again, just stay away from those underachievers. Lin Xiaxia, Jiangsun interrupted her, you're the discipline monitor, isn't it against the class rules to be talking during self-study? Lin Xiaxia's eyes filled with tears as she timidly said, sorry, I know I was wrong. She then returned to her seat and quietly sobbed with her head down on the desk. I lost focus watching the two of them from behind. Lin Xiaxia was pretty, well-behaved, and had excellent grades. Only such an outstanding girl could match Jiang Sen and lead him on the right path. Unfortunately, this bookworm didn't know how to cherish and appreciate her. Looks like I might have to intervene personally when necessary. Just then, my phone buzzed. A message from Jiang Sen came through. Room is ready. Rose Crystal A508. Make sure to bring the morning after pill. I don't like using that thing. I laughed angrily. No wonder he didn't come to evening study. This idiot must still think I'm playing some kind of game with him. Keep that toothpick of yours for picking your teeth. I typed swiftly and without hesitation. I blacklisted him. Liking someone like him in my past life was a real hit to my intelligence. The next day, I dyed my pink hair back to black. My school skirt was irreversibly shortened, and I had no idea where I threw my jacket. I would have to wait until Monday to buy a new set from the school office. On my way to school, I ran into Chi Weilong, who lived in the same neighborhood. After looking around for a while, he finally focused on me. Holy shit, Tang Jia, why did you dye your hair black? He exclaimed. I approached him. Does it look strange? Chi Weilong's cheeks flushed as he scratched the back of his head. Not really. It just looks pure. No, just not used to it. I ignored his comment and swiftly took the school jacket off his body. Let me borrow it for a couple of days. I'll give it back to you after that, she said, and then put on the jacket. Chi Weilong's face turned even redder. Sister Tang, you look like you're not wearing anything underneath that. Chi Weilong was tall, and his coat just covered my short skirt. After buttoning up, all that could be seen were my bare, pale legs under the oversized school jacket. I simply took off the jacket and tied it around my waist. How about now? Much better, he replied. Chi Weilong and I walked to school side by side. He asked, Nan is planning to fight with the guys from the vocational school next door tonight. What time will you go? I'm not going, I responded. The fight was triggered because someone from the vocational school whistled at Lin Xiaxia, and Xuan couldn't stand it. So he challenged them to a fight. In my previous life, worried that Xuan would be at a disadvantage, I skipped evening self-study to support him, but he ended up leaving to protect Lin Xiaxia and left me there alone. If Jiangsun hadn't arrived later, I don't know what terrible things might have happened to me. I wouldn't be foolish enough to repeat such a thankless task. Oh, what will you do then? Chi Weilong asked curiously. Homework. I replied, ha ha ha, homework, did I hear that right? Su Tang isn't sticking to Nan anymore and is going to be a good student. A mocking laugh suddenly came from behind us. Chi Weilong and I turned around and saw Xuan and his lackey Su Rui stopped behind us on a motorbike. Su Rui continued to mock. Look Nan, Su Tang even dyed her hair black, trying to imitate Lin Xiaxia. Right, Xuan had dark circles under his eyes as if he hadn't slept well. He looked at me displeased and said, where were you last night? Didn't you know I waited for you all night? What I did last night is none of your business. Why should it matter to you that you waited? I was already annoyed from getting up early. I rolled my eyes and walked away. Su Tang. Xue Nan called out my name angrily. Su Rui patted Xue Nan's shoulder. Nan, can't you see? Su Tang is doing it on purpose. She knows you like Lin Xiaxia, so she's trying to get your attention by imitating her. Look, Lin Xiaxia has black hair, so she dyed hers black. Lin Xiaxia is always aloof with you, so she acts the same. Lin Xiaxia likes Jiang Sen, so she purposely gets close to Qi Weilong. She probably thinks if she mimics Lin Xiaxia, you'll like her. Su Rui shook his head knowingly. Women, you can't be too nice to them. Ignore her for a few days, and she'll come running back, begging to talk to you. Xue Nan's mood seemed to lighten. Such crafty little thoughts, he scoffed. She wants to be like Xiaxia, what a joke. Then he revved the motorbike and sped away. The news that Xue Nan was going to fight with the vocational school quickly spread throughout the class. A girl said to Lin Xiaxia, Xiaxia, be careful, Xue Nan is fighting someone else for you, and some people are going to be really jealous. After saying that, both girls looked at me, but I was focused on my work, muttering, your magnesium took away my zinc, Mg plus ZnSO4 equals MgSO4 plus Zn, the girl scoffed. You see, she pretends to be studying but actually, she's still thinking about confessing her feelings to Xue Nan, Lin Xiaxia said as she glanced in Jiang Sen's direction. Jiang Sen also looked at me, but he quickly turned away, his gaze inscrutable. Biting her lip, Lin Xiaxia raised her voice. Who Xue Nan fights with has nothing to do with me, don't drag me into it. With that, the girl fell silent. I had spent the whole day studying seriously and filled half a notebook with notes. However, there was so much I had missed that it made my head swim, so, after the last class in the afternoon, I slipped away alone to the rooftop to memorize vocabulary, but I ended up falling asleep. When I woke up, it was already dark. When I returned to the classroom for the evening self-study, both Lin Xiaxia and Jiang Sen were gone. I had a bad feeling and quickly asked Qi Weilong, where are they? Oh, Lin Xiaxia left with brother Nan, he replied. I meant Jiang Sen. Jiang Sen, I don't know. When did you start caring so much about him? But it seems like after brother Nan and Lin Xiaxia left, he disappeared too. Alarmed, I threw aside my English dictionary and ran out, following my memory. I rushed to a deserted flat house area. By the time I got there, a fight was already in full swing. Standing on the outskirts of the crowd, I anxiously searched for Jiang Sen. Su Rui, noticing me, smirked with a bruised lip. Look, brother Nan, who's here? I told you. How could Su Tang concentrate on studying when you're fighting here? Xue Nan's gaze fell on me, and he sneered. Su Tang, stop clinging to me. I don't have time to look after you right now. Before throwing a punch at a guy trying to grab Lin Xiaxia, unexpectedly, the hefty guy, weighing over 200 pounds, didn't budge but instead lifted Xue Nan by the collar. Lin Xiaxia screamed in fright. At that moment, I spotted Jiang Sen struggling with someone nearby, so I ran through the crowd toward him. Just as I reached Xue Nan, he strained his neck and said, Su Tang, you don't need to. His words were cut off as I brushed past him and wrapped my arms around Jiang Sen from behind. Jiang Sen, watch out. As a fist was about to hit Jiang Sen, he quickly turned around and shielded me, kicking the attacker. Xue Nan's words were still unspoken, his eyes filled with disbelief. In that moment of distraction, the hefty guy had already thrown him heavily to the ground. Xue Nan screamed in pain. I said, Jiang Sen, run. Understanding, Jiang Sen grabbed my hand, and we ran towards a distant place. Our pursuers relentlessly chased after us. Jiang Sen and I dashed into an alley and found a hidden corner. The nook was so narrow that we had to press tightly against each other just to fit. I could even accidentally kiss his chin if I moved my head slightly. With Jiang Sen's breath in my ears in this tense yet quiet moment, it felt ticklish and awkward. Gritting my teeth, I said, can you breathe a little quieter? Suddenly, Jiang Sen laughed. Su Tang, you're pressing against me. I looked down, my chest pressed tightly against him, and my face flushed. I couldn't help but remember my role in this book as the simple-minded D-cup school beauty. Shut up, I muttered. It was a long while before the footsteps outside faded, and Jiang Sen and I finally walked out of the alley. Did you get hurt? Jiang Sen asked. I shook my head, then scolded. Are you silly? People are fighting and showing off for Lin Xiaxia. Why are you joining in the fuss? Aren't you also here because of Xue Nan and... I couldn't care less about their issues. I fell asleep on the rooftop while memorizing English vocabulary. Did you think I came here to help Xuannan fight? I reached out and pinched Jiang Sen's chin, looking from side to side. Fortunately, there was only one wound. Silly, didn't you think about it? What would a good student like you do if you got punished? Jiang Sen let me fuss over him obediently, his gaze firmly fixed on me. Su Tang, are you concerned about me? Nonsense, you're a good student with a bright future ahead. How could you be the same as us? Jiang Sen pursed his lips and remained silent, letting me take him to the pharmacy. I bought some antiseptic solution and cotton swabs, carefully applying the medicine to his wound. Worried about hurting him, I leaned close to his face, gently blowing on his wound. As I straightened up, the silent Jiang Sen suddenly called out my name, Su Tang. You don't like good students. So what if I stop being one, would that be okay? Jiang Sen sat on the pharmacy steps, looking up at me seriously. You dare? I was surprised he would consider such a thing. Being a good student is great. You'd be liked by teachers and classmates, you could go to a good university, get a good job, and make a lot of money. But you think I'm boring? Jiang Sen interrupted, his thick eyelashes drooping. Even being desk mates with me is unbearable for you. I couldn't explain to Jiang Sen that I had been reborn. Nor could I tell him how badly he had been hurt because of me in a past life. I just warned him to study hard and not entertain foolish thoughts, then walked off towards the school without another word, him following behind at a safe distance. As we passed a small park, a pained gasp suddenly came from inside. Turning my head, I saw that it was Xuannan. He was sitting against a big tree, bruised and bloodied all over, even missing one shoe. Lin Xiaxia was nowhere to be found. Without my interference, the rebellious school bully had been beaten to this sorry state. Seeing me, Xuannan's eyes lit up. Su Tang, you came to find me. Then he complained, why are you so slow? I stood still, arms crossed, chin up, looking down at his miserable state. After a long silence, Xuannan seemed to realize I wasn't planning to help him. His expression soured. Su Tang, don't go too far, come over now, and I'll let bygones be bygones for the past few days, otherwise you won't be able to handle the consequences. Handle what? Planning to punish me, planning to dump me, ignore me from now on, or go after Lin Xiaxia or some other girl wholeheartedly. I laughed. Xuannan, I couldn't ask for more. Xuannan frowned. Su Tang, it's no fun if you push it too far. I shrugged and said to Jiang Sen, see, some people are better off left in the ground. Saving him is pointless, let's go. With that, she grabbed Jiang Sen's hand and walked away. Su Tang, the boy behind her punched the ground in a final threat, if you walk away now, don't come crying to me later, begging for my attention. I never looked back. Xuannan was hospitalized. Su Rui, who was only slightly injured, returned to school soon after and organized classmates to buy flowers and a fruit basket to visit him together. He saw me sitting indifferently at my desk reading a book. He then brazenly sat on my desk and said with a smirk, Su Tang, want a chance to show off? No thanks, I replied. Su Rui frowned. I haven't even said what it is yet. If it's about Xuannan, save your breath, I'm not interested. Su Rui looked incredulous. Su Tang, Nan is hurt and in the hospital. He needs people to care for him. This would be your chance to get close to him. Why would I do that? He's not injured because of me. Oh, are you jealous? Su Rui said, feigning realization. Well, you can't compare to Lin Xiaxia, but you're better at sucking up. Maybe if you keep at it, Nan might be moved. Get lost. I kicked him off the desk. Keep babbling, and I'll sew your mouth shut. Xuannan had many brothers, and they all respectfully called me Sister Tang. Many even admired me as the potential real sister-in-law. Only Su Rui, whenever he saw me, would either mock or jeer, as if I had desecrated his family grave. You just don't get it, Su Rui said, clutching his sore butt. He got fed up and tried to find Lin Xiaxia, but after several rounds, he couldn't locate her. The classroom was buzzing with chatter. I took my physics textbook and went looking for a quiet place to read. Unexpectedly, I found Jiang Sen and Lin Xiaxia in an abandoned activity room. I quickly hid myself. I heard Lin Xiaxia speaking softly to Jiang Sen. Jiang Sen, were you hurt yesterday? I was so worried, but I couldn't reach you. I'm fine. Did you come here just to say this? Lin Xiaxia nervously clutched the hem of her skirt, took a deep breath as if gathering courage before speaking. I hate Xuannan and Su Tang's crowd. They're violent, mindless, with nothing but bad habits. Hanging out with them, nothing good will come of it. Jiang Sen, we're not like them. We need to stay far away from them too. Lin Xiaxia, Jiang Sen, with one hand in his pocket, his skin almost sickly pale and eyes dark under old-fashioned glasses. looked as still as a pond. If you hate Xuan, just stay away, you don't need to report to me. But if you're trying to convince me to avoid Su Tang, sorry, I have no such plans. With that, he turned to leave. Lin Shasha quickly blocked his path, her eyes slightly red and stubborn like a little rabbit. Yes, I admit Su Tang is interesting. While everyone else is buried in their studies, looking all dull and dusty, she stands out beautifully. The school forbids dyeing hair, but she dyes hers a striking pink, and despite the dress code, she shortens her skirt. She wears makeup, smokes, skips classes, fights, swears. Jiangsen has always been the center of discussion among the boys at school, Lin Shasha said earnestly, but Jiangsen, you're not like her. She takes pleasure in tricking people, and seeing you being played makes her happiest. Last time it was your grades that slipped, and this time it's getting involved in fights. She's going to drag you down sooner or later. Jiangsen, I'm trying to help you, to steer you back on the right path, she continued. Are you done? Jiangsen finally showed a hint of impatience. You like me, is that it? You think you're my kind of person? He strode towards Lin Shasha with long steps. Do you really know me? He challenged. Just because I'm good at studies and have helped you with a couple of problems. And because I almost always help out other classmates and am favored by the teachers, you think I'm just a good student? Pressed against the wall with no way to retreat, Lin Shasha bit her lip, her voice trembling. Isn't that the case? Jiangsen smirked, his long arm reaching past her ear to thump against the wall behind her, causing her to flinch. I have 276 pictures of Su Tang in my phone, every night. I need to look at those photos to fall asleep, he confessed. The scraps of fabric from her dressmaking are under my pillow, and I don't know how many times I've kissed and caressed them. She said she likes my fingers. I've thought about making them into a specimen for her, he continued. I'm crazier than Xuan, pretending to be a good student just to not scare her off. Lin Shasha, now, do you still dare say you like me? He asked. Lin Shasha covered her mouth, trembling with fright and tears streaming down her face. Finally, she pushed Jiangsen away and ran out. Stunned, I stood there, only to meet the gaze of the person opposite me. Have you heard enough? Jiangsen asked. I stepped back involuntarily, but Jiangsen walked right up to me. The facade of the good student was shattered. The celebrated university idol was actually a hidden madman. His fingers curled slightly, veins subtly prominent on his pale hands. Suppressing my panic, I asked, are you scared of me? Instead of feeling scared, I calmed down. I've known Jiangsen through 2 lifetimes. I know how tender and restrained he can be, how sincerely he treats me. I know this better than anyone. No, I quickly shook my head. I wouldn't be scared of you, no matter what. After a pause, I added, Jiangsen, I still like you best when you're studying, confident and dazzling. I want to be your desk mate again. Can you help me get into Tsinghua University? Jiangsen looked at me in surprise. Su Tang, a promise is a promise, of course. I reached out and hooked my little finger with his. Lying is for puppies. And so, I moved back to my original seat, becoming Jiangsen's desk mate once again. I thought to myself, if even Lin Shasha, a top student, can't win Jiangsen's heart and guide him back to the right path, then it should be me, the original instigator, who should do it. Last time, I even caused him to miss the college entrance examination. This time, I want to personally watch Jiangsen get into the highest educational institution, to see him shine, succeed in his career, and live a happy and fulfilling life. If he's willing, that is, I'll stay by his side. If he ever gets tired of me, I'll take the initiative to leave. In this lifetime, it's my turn to stand by him. I began dedicating all my time to my studies and also to encouraging Jiangsen in his. Jiangsen would explain problems to me. He's sharp-witted. And even the hardest questions seemed simple with his explanations. With his help, I was able to solve several fill-in-the-blank questions on my own and even scored 63 out of 150 on a math quiz. Jiangsen bought some osmanthus candies from the north of the city to encourage me. I lay listlessly on the desk, 150 points total, and I scored 63, despite my previous bold claims of aiming for Tsinghua University. Jiangsen didn't burst out laughing. He patted my back, comforting me. Don't rush, take it slowly. Sometimes, when I got really frustrated with problem solving or when my craving for a smoke became unbearable, I'd lose it. Jiangsen would just let me be. Are you feeling unwell? Do you want some candy to suppress it? He was always quick to notice when something was off with me. I showed my fangs, looking fierce. Candy is too sweet. I feel like biting someone instead. Jiangsen actually unzipped his jacket, rolled up his sleeve, and brought it to my mouth. go ahead, bite. When I hesitated, he offered his other arm, or perhaps this one, you asked for it, I said as I grabbed his arm and left a bite mark on his forearm. Jeong-sen didn't even flinch. I wondered if he was a wooden man. Feeling no pain, Jeong-sen, during class today, you looked at me more than a dozen times. You weren't focusing on your studies. Biting you is a punishment. If you don't get back to being the top student in this month's test, see how I'll deal with you. Jeong-sen chuckled. Don't worry, looking at you won't stop me from getting into Tsinghua. I pouted, you'd better. As the monthly exam approached, Xuan-nan was discharged from the hospital. After not seeing him for over half a month, he had lost a lot of weight, and a long scar stretched from his left eyebrow to the corner of his eye. The scar was deep and likely hard to completely heal. Although it wasn't disfiguring, Xuan-nan, who had always been vain about his looks, found it quite distressing. Moreover, probably because Lin Xiaxia had abandoned him during their last fight, he was much colder to her when he returned. Once, when they bumped into each other, Lin Xiaxia finally mustered the courage to say, Xuan-nan, I'm planning to go to Tsinghua University. You fighting and getting hurt for me only seems childish and doesn't touch me. I could never like someone like you. Xuan-nan didn't react much, merely saying, I know, before walking past her. Meanwhile, I kept pestering Jeong-sen about our studies, following him even to the cafeteria to ask about problems I didn't understand from class. I wore my hair in a ponytail and a school uniform skirt that went past my knees. No more skipping classes, no more fighting, no more smoking, no more wasting my youth with Xuan-nan and that crowd. One weekend, while Jeong-sen and I were working on homework in a fast food restaurant, Xuan-nan and his group came in to order. They seemed to have just smoked outside, the smell of mint mixed with nicotine spreading around. After being reborn, I abandoned my childhood friend and confessed to the school bully who had secretly loved me but never expressed it in my previous life. Jeong-sen noticed my distress. He naturally rolled up his sleeves, revealing a section of his forearm. I didn't bring any candy. If you're feeling bad, bite me. I couldn't help but laugh and quipped, they stink to high heaven. Then I leaned closer to his neck and took a sniff. Jeong-sen, you still smell nice. Jeong-sen's body tensed up, and the tips of his ears turned red involuntarily. He pretended to be serious and said, focus on doing the questions. Yes, Mr. Class Monitor. Su Rue, who had just picked up his meal, happened to see this scene. He couldn't help but complain to Xuan-nan. How long is Su Tang going to keep acting? I don't know why, but I don't think she's acting now. It seems like she really likes Jeong-sen. Xuan-nan's face turned ugly. He turned around and went to the door to smoke. However, the lighter didn't work after several tries. Su Rue shouted from behind, Brother Nan, aren't you going to eat? Xuan-nan became increasingly irritable. No, I've lost my appetite. 8. The next day after school, Xuan-nan unexpectedly stopped me at the school gate. He was riding a motorcycle, and the scar on his eyebrow bone added a bit of ferocity. He was as arrogant as ever. He looked at me sideways and said, you haven't taken the initiative to find me or say a word to me for so long. Su Tang, you have quite a bit of patience. I looked at him, completely confused. What the hell was he talking about? I was busy preparing for the college entrance examination. When did I have the time to pay attention to him? I was too lazy to waste words and was about to leave when I heard Xuan-nan sigh. As if he had let down his heavy defenses, he said in a tone of helplessness I had never heard before, fine, Su Tang, you've achieved your goal. I agree. I was even more confused. Agree to what? Don't you always want to be my girlfriend? I agree. It was rash of me to ask you to seduce Jeong-sen before. I admit that when you rushed over to protect Jeong-sen during the fight last time, I was extremely annoyed. From now on, you don't need to pay attention to him. The game is over. From now on, you'll be the only one who can be my girlfriend. There won't be any more Lin Xiaxia, nor any other girls. I was speechless. Initially, I did have an ulterior motive when approaching Jeong-sen. At that time, I was head over heels in love with Xuan-nan, willing to offer him my whole heart. He was also extremely annoyed because Lin Xiaxia liked Jeong-sen, so he said to me, want to be my girlfriend? Fine. Then go seduce Jeong-sen. If he falls in love with you, then I'll date you. I took his words seriously and immediately became Jeong-sen's deskmate, but that was in the past. Now, sorry, I'm not really interested in the position of your girlfriend anymore. Xuan-nan frowned. Su Tang, do you not understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about being the legitimate girlfriend. Can being your girlfriend add